Om Brahmanandam Paramasukadam Kevalam Jnanamurtim Dvandvatitam Ganganasadrisham Tattvamasyadilaksham Ekam Nityam Vimalamachalam Sarvadi Sakshibhutam Bhavatitam Trigunarahitam Sadgurum Tam Namami.
Dear Seeker of Truth, welcome. This work that we are going to talk about is one of the most sacred dialogues because it happens between two enlightened beings. One is Ashtavakra, the other is King Janaka, which was Ashtavakra's disciple. So in it you will have a glimpse of the instruction of an enlightened being so that you can achieve liberation, and also the vision of how a liberated being stands, acts, what is his experience. So pay attention to these teachings, fill your heart with surrender, devotion, sacredness, because that is the way to enjoy it the most. May it blossom in your heart, may you also find liberation. Moving on, Ashtavakra Samhita, 17th chapter, the true knower. So now Ashtavakra is going to speak about the true knower, the knower of truth. So Ashtavakra said, he has gained the fruit of knowledge as well as the practice of yoga, who contented and with purified senses ever enjoys being alone. So here he mentions the fruit of knowledge, of Vedanta, and the practice of yoga as being the same. And it is. Realization of the self, self-realization, or God realization is the same. Who contended, and who is contented is the one that needs nothing else, with purified senses, both together, ever enjoys being alone. Ever enjoys being alone means the one of self-realization. He is always alone. He has transcended duality. For him, there's no other. And that is bliss in itself. So ever enjoys blissful, that blissful which is his own nature. He is ever enjoying that. And being alone because there's nothing else beyond him. Oh, the knower of truth is never miserable in this world, for the whole universe is filled by him alone. He has realized the reality, the self. He knows that nothing else exists apart from him. He is fullness. So he is always dwelling in himself. Either in these circumstances or not, it doesn't make a difference. So he is never miserable. He is always blissful. It doesn't matter what is happening with the body, the mind, or in which circumstances they are. No sense objects ever please him who delights in the self, even as the leaves of the neem tree do not please an elephant who delights in salaki leaves. So this is pointing out that it doesn't matter how pleasurable, how good sense objects can be. For the one who delights constantly in the self, they are so no sense objects ever please him. Firstly, because for him they don't exist. And secondly, he is in that blissful state. He is bliss itself. So there's no room for it. And also the one who has, here it makes a comparison with the neem tree leaves and the salaki leaves, which probably are better, don't know, but the one who has tasted the highest will never be contented or pleased with the lowest. So what can bring sense objects? What do sense objects can bring for the one who constantly dwells in the self? Rare in this world is he on whom impressions are not left of things which he has experienced, or who does not desire things which he has not yet experienced. Because it's rare, of course. A self-realized being is rare. Mind has dissolved and things do not leave impressions anymore because there's no one there to be impressed. So usually in a normal person, whatever he is experiencing, it is making an impression in his mind. In the self-realized being, this doesn't happen. And who does not desire things which he has not yet experienced? A normal person, whatever he hasn't experienced, he is desiring things. It is normal. It is a normal condition. And so it is to get impressions of what he experienced that tell them this is good and I want more, this is bad, I don't want, or indifferent. So it is rare, and only the seeker, only the knower of truth is at this level, no one else. So for the seeker of truth, one aspect which is important is not to let your mind be impressed with whatever you're experiencing. Don't let your mind become impressed. If it is a good thing, don't let it ooh, or if the bad thing, don't let it go down. Practice indifference towards everything. But this is speaking about the condition of the true knower. Those desires of worldly enjoyment and those desires of liberation, both are found in this world. And those who desire both also. But rare indeed is the great souled one who is not desirous of either enjoyment or liberation. So there are these two classes of people. I said jokingly that desires both, but that's not the case. Usually is one or the other, because when you have a seeker that desires both, he is investing in both. So it's just worldly. He may be having spiritual practices, but still he is after sense enjoyments. So it's just worldly. The one that is desiring liberation He may still have, or he may have the desires for other things, but he is putting that aside. He is not making two at the same time. Two at the same time, it's nothing. It's just looking for enjoyment. But rare indeed. So these are two qualities of men, of seekers. But rare indeed is the great souled one who is not desirous of either enjoyment or liberation, because he is fullness already, has realized his real self. So nothing there is, it's fullness, it's bliss, so nothing else is required. But the one that reaches that level is the one that desires liberation only. Rare is the broad-minded person who has neither attraction for nor aversion to dharma, duty, harta, worldly prosperity, kama, desire, and moksha, liberation, as well as life and death. So, that person who has neither attraction nor aversion, this is the self-realized being, to dharma, worldly prosperity, he has no relation with it, actually. It doesn't matter what the body is doing while it is there, whatever that means, as long as there's still prarabdha karma. But he has transcended all these dualities, even life and death, because he has transcended bodily identification. So whatever the body is doing, whatever actions are being undertaken, either for dharma, for heart, for worldly perspective, worldly prosperity, desires, and moksha. Desires doesn't work like that anymore. But yes, and moksha, as well as life and death of the body. Well, moksha, liberation's already achieved it. But still, yes, neither attraction nor aversion, because he has achieved it already. And life and death of the body doesn't mind it. It doesn't matter if the body lives or the body dies. It is the same for the one who dwells constantly in the self. That man of knowledge does not feel any desire for the dissolution of the universe, or aversion to its existence. The Blessed One, therefore, lives happily on whatever subsistence comes as a matter of course. So whatever comes by itself, it doesn't make a difference, because the man of knowledge, the self-realized one, is all that exists. There's no universe. But even if it appears to be there, it makes no difference. So it doesn't want the dissolution of the universe, because it doesn't exist, first of all. And it doesn't bother him, because he is all there is. So wherever he is, whatever that means, it's indifferent. He is always blissful. He dwells in his own self. But here it hints at whatever conditions the body may find itself, it makes no difference for the awakened one. Being fulfilled by the knowledge of the self, and with his mind absorbed in the self, and contented, full, the wise one lives happily, seeing, hearing, touching, smelling, and eating. So, whatever are these actions being undertaken by the body, by nature itself, it doesn't make a difference. because he is being fulfilled by the knowledge of the self. The mind has been absorbed in the self, and he is contented. So this is an outer outlook into the awakened one, looking at the body that you call the awakened one and what happens with that person. So he's fulfilled by the knowledge of the self, his mind absorbed and contented. So the wise one lives happily. Whatever he sees, hears, touches, smells, eats, it doesn't make any difference. It doesn't alter his enlightened state, whatever that means also. So whatever you are observing, you will not see a difference into an ordinary person, an enlightened one. At least not in this outer condition. There is no attachment or aversion in one for whom the ocean of the world has dried up. His look is vacant, his action purposeless, and his senses inoperative. So there's no attachment or aversion in one for whom the ocean of the world has dried up, disappeared. So if it has dried up, has disappeared, there's no relation of attraction or aversion. His look is vacant, his action purposeless, and his senses are inoperative, because he is like a ghost to the world, or the world is like a ghost to him. And there is nothing left for him to do, because he is all there is. The ocean of the world has dried up. This expression, well, maybe it's worth commenting a little bit about it. The ocean, full of multiplicities, full of things happening, riches, and all of that, exists no more. So life has no interest anymore for him. It has finished, because self-realization has occurred. The dream has dissolved. The wise one neither keeps awake nor sleeps. He neither opens nor closes his eyes. Oh, the liberated soul anywhere enjoys the supreme condition. Because all these, awakening or sleeps, open or closes his eyes, these are actions pertaining to the body. And the wise one is the one who has transcended the body. So he is always enjoying his real nature, his blissful nature. And whatever the body is doing, this is not disturbed, because that body is not his anymore. He has transcended the pair of opposites. So in a sense, he is dead to the world, or the world has died to him. Okay.
Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.